We're out there disc golfing, and I had just told him the story about how, like, I was out with Kimmy and her son, and my son were out disc golfing, and so, like, the fairway, let's just pretend like this table's the fairway, right? Off to the right, like way
where
to
that
the right,
post
like
is.
where that post is a fenced-in area where
Barbed wire.
like, yeah, like,
You can't go in there.
but it's not a problem. It's 90 degrees away, right? You can't throw a disc in there.
I was even mouthing, bro. I was like, I don't know how he did that.
Yeah. Yeah, but her son did it. I mean, I was like, no big deal. I mean, it happens, you know.
So we're laughing about it.
We're
I'm
laughing about it.
strolling up there.
So I'm laughing about it, telling him the story. So we step up there, and he's been playing disc golf a long time. So, I mean, anyways, just throw that out there.
He should be better.
He should be better, right?
First toss, bro.
Yeet! It went 90 degrees. Same thing, into the fenced-in area.
Dude, bro, it was so bad. This dude is pulling the fence up so I could get underneath to get my disc so I didn't lose my disc, man.
Yeah,
I'm
that
like,
happened.
this is what we're doing
That
today.
happened.
This
And
is what we're doing.
so you would think that, I mean, that's pretty bad, right? I could beat him. No. He still beat me. It's my putting game.
That's
my
funny.
putting game.
Oh, that's some real talk. It's about to get real.
Let's get real.
Let's get real. We want to thank today's sponsor for this episode, Riolanas of Amarillo. Riolanas of Amarillo is the Panhandle's highest paying consignment event. Families can sell their items through Riolanas and earn 65% of their sales. From baby gear to toys to quality kids clothing, you can truly find all you need for your kiddos at Riolanas. Be sure to follow on Facebook and Instagram Riolanas of Amarillo as their next event is coming up August 11th through the 15th at the Embassy Suites downtown Amarillo. You can also find more at amarillo.riolana.com or scan the QR code on your screen.
All right, welcome to today's episode. We got Danny Shetter with Pillar to Post Home Inspections, Texas Panhandle. Danny, welcome to the show, man.
Man, thank you guys for having me. This is awesome. This is great. I appreciate y'all.
Man, absolutely.
So what are we
Excited to
talking about
have you.
today, guys?
Well, I mean, maybe home inspections, why you should get a home inspections.
Yeah.
And, you know, the thought that, I mean, really, truthfully, I remember when I was buying my first couple of homes as a young man, I didn't even think about a home inspection. Never even crossed my mind. So, you know, I think you're taking a real gamble when you don't.
Yeah, 100%. Let's also learn some things about Danny. We're going to hear Danny's story, where he came from, his past experiences, previous jobs. We're going to hear all the things. No, let's hear it all, man. That's what we're here for. I'm excited about it.
Heck yeah.
What's your story, D? Where'd you come from?
I graduated from San Juan, New Mexico originally. You know, and after leaving high school, you know, of course, tried the college route. You know, I went to go play basketball at McMurray.
What?
Thought it was great. Thought I was really good until I got there. You know, learned that maybe I wasn't as good as I thought I was.
What's the population of San Juan?
Probably. I mean, we're talking maybe 150, 200 people.
Okay, yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
I mean, I could be way off on that. It's diminished probably since then, even.
Really?
You know, just people there's no jobs in New Mexico, right? New Mexico's kind of a dying state right now, in those low area populations, and you know, if you don't get on with the railroad or you know, big jobs there, you know, state highway department, something like that, you're not gonna stay, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, it's one of those things for us. We didn't want to stay. You know, we knew we needed to get out because all of our family was there and it was time to venture on. So when I worked for the railroad, we were able to get out of Tucumcari and move to Dalhart, you know. But it's funny though, because when I was working for, I kind of feel like David. I was thinking about that this morning, in a way, because David was just a shepherd, right? And being a shepherd, he had no idea of having even a vision of a king, right? It just kind of fell into his lap, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
For us, me and my wife, Alora, we we always wanted to be business owners, even doing shepherd's work. Didn't know how we were going to get there.
I love that. Yeah.
You know, so I worked on the wind turbines in San Juan for like 2.5 years, and then I was like, all right, this is ridiculous. Like I got to get out of here. So I applied for the railroad and got on with Union Pacific out of Delhart as a conductor, and you know, it was a great job. Like I enjoyed every minute of it. But in 2015, my brother-in-law opened up a roofing company here in Amarillo, and he's like, hey, I want you to come sell for me. I'm like, dude, I don't know how to sell things, you know? But growing up, I always remember my grandpa telling me, hey, you should be a salesman. But at the same time, you know, we all know growing up, salesmen were talked bad about, right? You're the sleazy person in the suits, wearing a cigar, lying to people, you know, just trying to make money, you know? But I just never really pursued that. Knowing what I know now, I wish I would have pursued it a lot earlier, but it just wasn't the time, you know? So in 2015, I started working for my brother-in-law as a salesman. I started realizing that, oh, this is my calling, right? Helping people. I enjoyed it. And so it was just a year later in October 2016, I actually was working a storm in Delhart and was able to get into some connections, you know, just like I met you guys here, just kind of a grace of connections. And I was able to do really, really well in that storm. And so we left, you know, the railroad, and everybody thought we were crazy. You know, when you do things for God, you know, everybody thinks you're crazy.
Amen to that.
You know, and so, you know, we just, I'm a firm believer in, hey, we're going to be all in, you know, we have to, if we're going to do this, we got to be all in. Yeah. So I left and then the storms really didn't get hit here in Amarillo till later in 17. So we actually booked it and went and worked the Denver storm in 17. That was awesome. That was really cool. But then I left. It just was time to try to figure out other things. So I went and worked for Legacy Support Works and Foundation World. That was different, but I couldn't deliver high prices, right? So I'm in there telling people it's $40,000 to fix their foundation on their home. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Like, I can't do this, you know? So I left and I went and sold cars for a minute. That was fun. And I told the GM when I interviewed there, I was like, look, if you try to make me do it, because I didn't know anything about car sales, only heard the bad, you know, unethical, immoral, blah, blah, blah. So I told the GM, I'm like, look, I'm not going to do anything that you asked me to do that's unethical or immoral. If you do, I'll bounce like tomorrow. Like, I don't even care. Yeah. You know, and never had an issue, but I mean, just kept still selling, you know, just marketing. And it was different. Had to create videos, you know. And when we create videos, everybody thinks we love to do it, right? I hate doing it. Y'all can, I know y'all can relate, man. Every time we shoot a video, it's like, you know, we start shaking and it's like, we psych ourselves up, but it's like, I've been trying to plan this for 2 weeks, you know what I mean? So I started doing videos and different things, and selling cars was a lot of fun. And then everybody's like, man, we enjoyed your videos. I'm like, why? You know? But you know, from there though, then I left there and went to Childress Brothers for Foundation. I was delivering high prices, you know, for in the car sales. You know, people are buying $85,000 cars. I mean, but I was like, well, if you can buy a car, you can fix your house. You know, so when I went to work for Childress Brothers, it just really kind of hit the ground running there. But I knew it was a short stint because when God started putting on my heart, like business owners started ramping up. And so me and Laura were like, okay, well, what's that look like? You know, this is with the Childress Brothers, I had a lot of road time. And with road time, I cranked up praise and worship music, and I praise him, pray, cry, while you're driving. Doesn't sound safe. I don't recommend it. Wiping tears, blurry, you know, different things. But it was one of those things that it just was like, hey, I want you to do home inspections. So I was like, oh, that makes sense. You know, didn't really know a whole lot about it. and then started thinking of our past, kind of like you said, Sam, like, hey, bought a couple houses, didn't do a home inspection. We did when we bought our house in Delhart, it was brand new. We didn't think we needed a home inspection. Realized we should have got a home inspection, but you don't know what you don't know.
That's right.
When we bought our house here, it was different than to what it is now. Things changed. So we didn't know a lot about the inspection. We just trusted the realtor to take care of it. And that was fine. But we just, we didn't know really, we're educated, as far as what it entailed in a home inspection. Right. So I told the Lord, if we're going to do home inspections, we're going to do this. Right. And so, we started doing the research on doing it our own, which is, I wanted to do something different, or a franchise. Right. So, a franchise route made sense. Then it was, what franchise? If you start looking at franchises in anything, you'll be surprised at what you can find. But a friend of mine, it's almost like his God was talking to me. He's like, hey, if you're going to do this, you got to go with pillar to post home inspectors. I'm like, well, I hadn't really come across them yet. So I researched, and, it was like technology. It was, we want to take care of people, helping realtors get on, get their inspections report quicker, same day, print on site for people. And during COVID, on the outside, looking in, you hear, well, man, we got a 3-day option period or a 2-day option period, and we're waiting 72 hours for the home inspection report. I'm like, okay, I got to bring this to Amarillo. Why? I don't know, but God will lead us here. And so that's kind of a longer story, but, that's what it is, And so I started the process last February. We bought the franchise, started the pillar to post training and the AHIT training, and it's a lot of schooling. I've done more education outside of not going to college.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're not willing to learn every single day, you're just going to, you're just going
to go stagnant and go backwards.
Yeah.
That's part of that. When you're talking about that, I'm just listening to what you're talking about, being in the car and putting on the praise music and, all the emotions that are floating. Man, I know I've been there, and that's part of that transformational period, I think, of just deciding to go all in, because you have a calling, right? Mm-hmm. And if you don't commit, when we talked about this in other podcasts, if you don't commit and you're not 100% in, what great comes? Nothing. Right. You've got to commit and be all in.
Absolutely. And it's one of those things. It wasn't easy. You know what I mean? If it was easy, everybody would do it.
That's right. That's right. Yep.
And we've talked about this. The connection just in here with all of us is unreal. It was a God connection. Like, Shaye weirdly texted me out of the blue. I'm like, I don't even know who this guy is. Right?
Yeah, he does that.
I'm like, and I was never used to people reaching out to me like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was like, what in the world? Like, this is weird. Like, I probably didn't answer him for a few hours. I was like, what's going on here? And then I met with Shaye, and we met, had coffee, and I'm like, this is the type of person I want to be around. And he's like, well, then I need to give you my buddy Derek's number.
That's right. Literally left there.
I was like, whoa, all right. And I didn't call Derek for like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
But what was funny about that is, like, when that all happened and you reached out, I think it was the same day. I think we talked about this later. Yep. I saw your pillar to post truck driving through Bushland. And I was like, wait a minute. I was like, they were my preferred home inspectors in Oregon. I was like, I didn't even know they were here in Texas.
Yeah.
So then whenever we got connected, it was already said and done, man.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah, it was great. It was just funny, and then me and Derek had lunch and we're like best friends. Like, we're like best friends already.
Yeah, I know.
And I met Sam. I'd done a coffee with Sam before I even met you two.
Yeah.
With Kimmy. I actually reached out to Kimmy. She goes, I'm gonna bring my friend Sam. If that's okay. He's a realtor too. I'm like, heck yeah, the more the merrier, man. Let's go.
Like, who is it? Who's this guy? I don't even know this guy.
I've been trying to, when you do research on realtors and stuff and trying to figure out, who are the producers and stuff, some are out there, and then some are kind of hidden. Sam's the hidden one, right? Sam's a great realtor to work with, but he's hidden. You're getting out there now though.
Yeah,
You're making videos,
Hey,
and
Sam's becoming a big deal here in Amarillo.
Oh,
I mean, this guy.
Yeah.
Man,
It's
you're busy, bro.
I'm busy. Yeah. Sometimes
You just have a little bit of things going on.
Yeah, a little bit right now, but it's the same thing. Like doing the videos and the social media. I'm totally with you. I don't like it. I don't like it. Remember we had a podcast like, Sam, what's your Instagram handle? I don't know.
No, that's
like
all. Yeah, that's all a part of. I mean, just growing in general. I think that doing things that are out of your comfort zone, like when I jumped out of real estate and got into the title and escrow side of the business, and that really forced me to get out of my comfort zone and do things that I was not super comfortable with. And that was, that went down to, making phone call. I mean, I did that obviously a lot in real estate, but making phone calls to people that I had kind of already known, and sitting down and meeting with people one-on-one, and then like doing group presentations. That was never anything that I would have ever thought that I was going to do.
Right.
But I did. I mean, I went to all kinds of different offices and would do group presentations, and that was outside of my comfort zone for sure. And then it translated into like doing videos on social media. And then one thing that I had kind of started to add towards the end of my, I guess the last job over at the title company I came from, was sending videos, like personalized videos to realtors or just people in general for their birthday, or hey, say congratulations for this or whatever. Like that's just, it pushed me outside of what I was always comfortable with. And so that was the biggest part of growth that I had seen in myself over the last year. We touched on that. One of the first couple episodes we had talked about that was, just pushing outside of what's comfortable.
And I think that's also
growing.
important too, because that's what all led us to our current brokerage here at Real Broker. I mean,
Yep.
it was the opportunities to do something that nobody else is doing here, and getting outside the comfort zone again with like-minded people with the same heart, with the same mind, like with the same goals in mind, and really having a heart for the community and the people here and serving others. And I just love the fact that, like you said, man, it's crazy we're all four sitting in the room, and I'm so thankful because, man, we're doing a lot of good here and doing things the right way.
Yeah, sure.
And there's a lot of noise out there, but I mean, when you get a group of like-minded people together that are led in the right way and got their faith in the right way, and man, it's cool to see how many people can be impacted and what all is going on. So even if it's scary doing videos.
That's right.
Well, one thing we got to remember, even though we're doing the right things, right, there's still evil out there.
Yep.
Right. And so if you're watching this and you're wondering how to do the right thing, you just got to do it. I mean, it's really simple. But remember that there is still there's an evil power out there that's going to try to twist your mind, twist it, get people to attack you in different ways. And it can be frustrating, but you always got to go back to your spirit, right? Yep. And letting your spirit take over those evil powers. Yep. Like, you don't try to handle it. Yep. Like, any time you get, in yourself in a situation of handling it yourself, it's never going to work.
Yeah.
It's never. Trust me, I've been there too many times.
Yeah.
No. So what you're saying is, like, when you're saying if you're doing the right thing, just do it. You mean you're saying stay obedient to the word and doing the right thing in that way, being obedient? Absolutely.
I mean, we're all tested every day. You could easily go and dip into a small bad thing, but you have to stay obedient.
Sure.
Yep.
And discipline is key. Obedience and discipline. And
Absolutely.
God will honor that.
Yep.
And we got to have patience though too, right? God is willing to see how many times are you going to be disciplined and obedient before he, honors you.
Yeah.
But when he does, be ready, man.
Dude, let's talk about that. I love that. I love that you brought that up, because that is literally a part of your story over the last several months of being patient and being obedient to the calling that you feel like God put on your life.
For sure.
And starting this business and getting into home inspections. Dude, we mentioned giving 100%, going all in with everything that you're doing. That's literally what you have done all the way up to this point. Like, you've seen it through, you've been patient, you've been putting in all of the work that it takes to grow a successful business. And dude, I pretty much got to watch it from the very beginning. Like I think we had our first meeting October, I don't know,
yeah,
September,
it was like our
October,
second month in,
yeah. So you guys were just getting started and really starting to ramp things up. And the reason I reached out to you was because I started seeing you everywhere. Like that was a big part of. I was like, okay, I have to get in contact with this guy. We've got to set something up. And at that time, I was at the title company, so it was a lot about the collaboration and figuring out how we can tag team and work together as a unit to go out and educate realtors specifically, because that's what we're here to do. But then homeowners, people that are buying and selling as well, because the importance for you, especially of getting an inspection. But man, I want you to kind of elaborate on that. I mean, the last couple of months you've been hitting record months. I mean, it's been month over month that you're seeing growth. I love that when we talked the end of this last month, you were like, dude, I don't know where all this came from, but like our business, we almost doubled from the previous month.
Yeah.
How many inspections we did. So from September, I want you to talk about that process of where you started to where you are right now.
Man, I mean, I can dip, you never want to, when you look back into the past, you don't want to dip and set in the past, right? Because then you can easily ruin your future or what you're doing right now by letting the past take over your future, right? I know that doesn't really make sense to a lot of people, but if you're, I'm gonna tell you right now, if you dip into the past a lot, stop doing it. Like dip in for a minute and then get out, right? Because
put your toe in the water, get back out.
Yeah, you're almost like trying to stay in that glory moment rather than looking forward to the things that you need to continue doing,
or even mistakes or things that you didn't do well. And you're dwelling on that, but what you're holding yourself back from is like the blessings of today or tomorrow that you're like already called to do. It's already set in motion. But if you're trying to drag yourself back, in a way, you're taking it back into your own hands again, and that's never going to go good, like what you already said.
That's right. Yeah, it's a bad thing. So when I dip back into the past, right? I only look for the things of, wow. Like, so I can remember, like, it was probably around the time, like, end of September, into October, we were sitting down doing, me and my wife, we have coffee. We try to have coffee every morning and do a devotion, whether it's maybe reading a chapter out of the Bible, or actually doing a devotion, whatever that looks like. We're always trying to put God first that day, right? Together, to build on our family and our relationship, and then it builds on your own personal relationship with God too, and He elevates that, right? So it was like, man, we had a good September, but it was like dead. It was probably October. It was like dead. I'm like, oh boy, like, but I kept saying, like, we just got to keep going, right? We can't stop. We cannot stop. Like, still don't know how we made it out. He's trying to just scrap money together and different things, but I just was like, we got to just keep going, because when you stop, that's when it really gets dangerous, right? So you got to keep pushing forward. So I just kept going, and, piecing things together, and slowly things started coming together. And then, like, at the end of the year, instead of a few years ago, instead of going out and partying, and drinking and different things, we started business planning a few years ago. So this year was a different business, or going into 2023 was a different business planning for us, because it was for us, right? And our business. And even though it was for us previous, but it was still growing others' businesses, right? So we took the approach a lot differently. And my mom always takes the kids, and we sit down and we business plan, and, we try to put the vision board together and different things. That's a whole nother animal, right? Doing all that, finding pictures and different things. And but we business plan, and when January opened up, we just kept going, but then we started seeing all the things that we planted, right? And the seeds and different things, and God takes care. And I'm not trying to get all the business. I don't want all the business, right? I mean, there's plenty for everybody that's in this business. And we're not for everybody. I know that. We all know that, right? I stay in my lane, and I just take care of people, and God puts the right people into place. And my wife actually sent me like, she saw it on Instagram or Facebook, something. It was actually like a motivational thing, but it said, if God gave you the business idea, he'll give you the clients to come with it. Mm-hmm. So, you know, every day, man, God's just putting the right people in place. And, you know, whether it's realtors, whether it's the home buyers, whatever be the case, God leads us every single day.
You made a cool point I wanted to touch on real quick, too, because there was a pain point in which you probably thought about quitting.
Oh, 100%.
Whenever you said, you know, we cannot stop. That was the defining moment for you, because I'm sure things were tight. Money was tight. You're like, in a way, your body and your mind are stressing over here, but your spirit says, keep going forward. And there's always that wrestle. And I'm like, man, that's what we teach everybody in any business situation, whether it's a new realtor coming in, new business owner. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a pain point in your business. It's very, 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 very few people that actually just start a business and run it perfect, and it's all just flowers and roses and butterflies.
That's right.
Like, you're going to get to a point where you're going to have to make a decision. That we were in the same way. I almost quit real estate before it got brought back to me, my original motivation. We were in our darkest hour, right?
Yeah.
New baby, you know, 1.5-year-old at home, no money, and I'm like, I know that God put us in this position, and I'm like, he's going to see us through it.
Yep.
Tamara was like, I trust God, trust you, let's go. The next week, we got our first client. And so it sounds like it was a similar experience for you where, man, that was knocking on the door. You had a decision to make. You could either go forward with your calling or you could turn away.
That's right.
How important is that?
Oh, man, it's everything, you know? It's super important because if it's God's idea, which 99% of the time it is, like, we don't just, like, because you'll know when it's God's idea. And how I knew is just because it kept coming up all the time, right? And I said, God didn't make all this thing happen for us to fail.
Right.
Satan, that evil power we talked about earlier, now that can come in to try to steal, kill, and destroy, right? Because he also knows the goodness that's going to come out of this. So he tries to steal, kill, and destroy that. And whether it's, you know, in that business, trying to get you away from that, trying to destroy your marriage from that, trying to take all your money from that, whatever be the case, because he'll try to do that. And you just stick the course. If we, you know, when me and my wife got married, when I was working at the wind farm, I was like dipping into the past, right? I had a good friend that worked, and he said, no matter what you do in your relationship, always keep God in the center of your relationship. Always keep. So if we would have gotten away from God, even at that point, we wouldn't be here today. We would already been closed shop, been done, and stressing, you know, but we kept God. We kept doing our Bible studies, praying, crying, you know, and praising, and you could see it. You get a little bit of faith, you know, whoop, oh, we got a couple today, you know, and then nothing. And we just keep going, whoop, got a couple today, you know, and so now it's starting to become not so much of up and down, but like a steady flow, right? But I know that we have to keep doing the right things, and we have to keep doing these things because God wants to take it up, right?
Are you frustrated with attempting garage sales and selling on Marketplace? Riolanas of Amarillo is the perfect opportunity to sell all the quality outgrown baby and kids item in one place. Upscale resale is what you will find at Riolanas of Amarillo. They do the work and you cash the check. August 11th through the 15th at Embassy Suites downtown Amarillo. For more info on how to sell items and when to shop, find them on Facebook and Instagram, Riolanas of Amarillo, or online at amarillo.riolana.com.
So, D, take us back a little bit. So, you talk about doing, you know, all the right things, and you're being led by what you're doing. Man, how did you go from nothing in your business? Because I remember me and you sitting down talking, bro, and I remember, like, you were just praying, like, God, bring us 15 this month, you know?
Yeah.
And then it was like, you blew through that in a week. And it was like, so what were the things you were doing along the way? Because I think it's important for whether you're a new business owner, real estate agent, thinking about starting a business, there's relational and real things you did that would help anybody in any business do business the right way. What were some of those things you were doing?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, I'm kind of beating a dead horse here, not trying to sound cliche, but it's really find a church, get rooted, and put God in first, right? That's on the spirit side, right? On the business side is try to be everywhere. Like Shaye said, like we were everywhere, and that was my goal. Like, try to be at all the business after hours, meet as many people as possible for the Chamber of Commerce. They kind of make it easy when they do that monthly. Any type of networking thing you can do, go and do it. You never know, if you just pray for one connection, Lord, just give me the one connection. You never know what that connection may be, just always putting yourself out there. Market. You hear Grant Cardone say this all the time: market, 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 market. And Pillar to Post did a great job on a lot of things to help us, what they've done to bring them success for the last 20 some years. And so I just took that and then did my own things, because in roofing, I was a 1099 employee. So even though I was working for a company, I was still, whatever I brought in is what I got. So I was still, going out and talking to people. And so talking to people is what I do best. I love people, I love to learn people. You'll be surprised when you start learning people, like how many cool people there really are out there. And so that was just, I just, started getting out there, and that was my goal. Like I said, I would never cold call, but then I started cold calling like right away. And it just, it for me, it was just like, hey, I'd call a realtor and be like, hey, I'd like to sit down with you. Sure. Different things. So, in any business aspect, you can grow a business however you want to do. And I know episode 2, Derek, you talked about, a guy, a good mentor of yours, said in Amarillo, it's easy to do a business.
Yeah.
And it really is. People want to support businesses here, but it's not going to come sitting on the couch, right? Mm-hmm. It's not going to come just handed to you. COVID made it easy, but now COVID's over. You know what I mean? And everybody's wanting to see, what are you going to do, and sit back and watch, right? And so it's just getting out there. And then when you do those things that you do, then you're going to have to get more creative too, because only those things are going to last for so long.
Yep.
I think also a part of that too is like having a knowledge of what separates you from everyone else, or what makes you the best choice. Like you said, you're not going to fit everybody. Everybody's not going to fit you. That's fine. But what is it that's about you that makes you the best, separates you from other people, and then also following up with that and proving that you do a great job, so that those realtors / home buyers, sellers, whoever say, can give that referral, and your business keeps going. So it's a number one, marketing. Totally agree with that. But also following up with, here's what I am. Here's who I am. I'm the best at this, or I do a great job, and following up with that service.
Yeah. So, for us, I'm going to be in the home for a while, 3 to 4 hours. And it's just because I really want to make sure that I can try to get, I'm not going to get everything, because there's still things, you walk into this room and I got to look up the ceiling. I look at the wall, the electrical, the lights burnt out. There's so many things we have to look out for. And a lot of things that we got to call out is, I feel, are a lot of times petty, right?
But they're mandated.
But they are mandated, so it's just one of those things is I have the heart to help somebody, right? My goal that day is to ensure their confidence in buying that home, right? Mm-hmm. And all I have to do is lay out all the right information for them to make that educated guess. I'm not going to make it for them, and that's one thing that I said, and it's hard sometimes on the foundation side because I know what to do, but I don't, I try to stay in my lane. Roofing, different thing. The things that it's hard to stay in that lane. I promise you. I'm like, oh my gosh, I know what's going on, right? Yeah. But I can't, right? So, but it's just taking care of people. I have a task that day, and it's to take care of that person, to give them enough education. And I know that, deal killers out there a lot, right? Realtors, you guys use that. It's almost pretty loosely. Deal killer.
Here it comes.
But, For us, we're just giving them information. I'm not influencing their mind. I'm just like, hey, because we do, try to do 24-hour calls before, and just say, hey, introduce ourselves, different things. What are you concerned about most in the home, other than what we're already looking at, right? Mm-hmm. And some people, man, I just want to make sure those cracks are good, right? Or I'm worried about this or different things. So we take that in consideration and then really look into that to see, okay, we need to ensure their confident home ownership to get them to buy whether they want to buy the house. We're there for a reason, right? Mm-hmm. And so we're not influencing, we're working to help them. Right.
Now, what I love about that too is even that's such a simple process to just have that conversation with somebody ahead of time of like, hey, what are you worried about other than, what we're looking at? Like, even that step alone is above and beyond service, I feel like,
yes,
in most realms of home inspections, because that's not something home inspectors typically do every day. Mm-hmm. And so just even that from a service perspective is great that you do. And then I also know that, like, pillar to post, you guys do some unique things too with your home inspection packages that really afford a buyer to just hone into what they want.
Yeah.
If you want 3D floor plans, there's so many things you guys do that I think separate your business from the rest out there.
For sure. And that's why we wanted to buy the franchise, right? But buy the franchise that made sense for us, right? And so technology, and it's funny that I say I wanted to buy a business with technology because I'm not a technical person, right? My wife reminds me of that area. I'm like, oh, technology. She's like, but you own a technical business. I'm like, yeah, I know. But it's not, I knew that the technology side, it's not what I want. It's what people want, right?
Yep.
And for us to have a successful business, you have to have a technology, right? And so the technology that's out there, I couldn't afford to do it. 24-hour, or same day inspection reports, right? Same day. That's huge, right? Our software allows us to be able to input everything as we go along. I have, saved comments. And so we can use a lot of the same comments for every house because you see a lot of the same stuff over and over and over and over. So we can just save that. And so we print on site if they want it printed, and give them a binder. It's just step after step of taking care of having that customer service. Now, not everybody wants printed out version or different things, and that's okay. Saves us some time. Mm-hmm. But I always want to provide that service. But yeah, pillar to post, it does a great job. So like I said, 24 or the same, not 24-hour, same day inspection report. You get the inspection from us that day, right? You also, in our packages, we offer a plus, a premium, and a prestige package. Now, I don't really try to push the prestige because most people around here, we're all used to allergies. And so allergy testing is not really a huge thing because we're like, well, we're going to sneeze year round. So it is what it is. But so the premium and the plus package is the biggest thing to help people, right? And it's really a gauges of what do they want, right? So plus package, you get a 360 tour. So we do a 360 tour around the house, inside all the rooms, outside. That way, once you're done, right, this tool is actually created to be able to help minimize the phone calls back to you as a realtor, right? Oh, hey, I need to get back in there to look at this room. Well, now they have a 360 tour to go look at that room, right? That's Absolutely. What that's for. Yep. PTP estimates, everything is PTP and then what we have, right? And so it's pillar to post and it's estimates. And so we're partnered with a company that in other area, like in the big metroplex areas, they actually have it's a really cool tool. So the estimates would go to the email version, right? And you type in your email and it starts pulling those estimates together. It takes about 24 hours and they'll tell you about how much it would cost to fix those estimates. So like in Dallas, Fort Worth, in the Houston area, they actually, Punch List is our company. They actually well, the realtors can say, I want that fixed, I want that fixed, I want that fixed, and punch list will go and give them an estimate, and hire the contractors to get that fixed, and the realtors don't have to use that, right? It's probably going to be many years before Amarillo sees that, but it gives you an idea, right, on how much it would cost. And so that tool, and I've had a couple of calls like, it's $75 to caulk around this window. I'm like, it's an idea, right?
Right.
It's not going to, obviously it won't cost that, but if you hired somebody to do it, it might. I don't know. I've never traced that, but I would rather budget high than low and be able to say, okay, well, save me some money.
Yeah. But then also letting your people know, the clients know that it is going to be an estimate. It's not going to, you're like, hey, I'm not spitting you exact numbers. Like, do not quote me on this because this is an estimate. This is just a good idea of where you're going to be.
And it's not, and I didn't create this list,
right?
That's
the other thing.
But it's trying to just help, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about that help.
Yeah.
So, in our premium package, so you get the 360 tour and the estimates, and then you get to add on, and then this is on top of the full home inspection, right? So then you get to add on the floor plan, right? Gives your room by room dimension plus or minus 5%. We're not going to give you square footage. We're not going to conflict with the MLS listings, right? So it gives you room by room dimension. That tool is created to help out with, oh, hey, I need floors. You essentially just hand the flooring company where you wanted floors, and they can figure it out, and they don't have to go measure it, right? And then they may still, but that's what that was created for, right?
I love that.
And then the home manual, digital home manual is really cool. So we'll take pictures of all the appliances in the home, as well as your HVAC, your hot water heater, and we'll take, as long as the label is readable, right, and it's there, we can take a picture of it, and if we remember to, right, because there's a lot of things going on, but you can take a picture of it, or we'll take a picture of it, and it'll do a recall check on those appliances, right, for as long as you're at that home.
Nice.
They also, though, have a year, the customers have a year to be able to add anything free to that. So they can add fridge, washer and dryer, garage fridge, deep freeze, all those things. Within that year, they can add anything that they need to, and it'll keep that recall check for them. And then the cooler thing is, if anything breaks, you don't have to search Amazon. You can just go find the part to your appliance that you have and order that part that's broken right then and there off the app and have it delivered to your home.
That is awesome.
Makes it so easy.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is great. I couldn't come up with this, right? And then on the premium package, we do an infrared scan. So we're looking for in the walls for leaks and potential leaks, different things, just anything that's maybe not visible to the eye. In the electrical panel, older homes, we're looking for overloaded wires, different things like that. So, it helps. We're not trying to find any issue, but that's that extra mile of providing that confident home ownership for them.
Yep.
Man, that's awesome. Real quick before we conclude this episode, bud, Danny's like, hey, top things you see in home inspections in the Texas Panhandle. Repeat offenders, if you will.
Well, I definitely, these are maintenance tips. Really just keep the soil sloped away from the home, right? You don't want the erosion of the soil to push down and pull up around your home, right? That's what can create other issues down the road. Caulking. And we see that all the time. It's showers, bathtubs, windows, garage trim, exterior doors, all that. Because you don't want any reason for any types of bugs or moisture, anything to get in, right? And let's see, everything, really, those are the two biggest things. Light bulbs ain't really a big deal because, you can go to Lowe's or Home Depot and get it. But we see a lot of burnt out light bulbs. Those are probably the two most important things. Is just because we're calling those out like 99% of the time.
Here's one I get is on the new builds. People say, it's a brand new home. Why do I need a home inspection? Should people get a home inspection on a new build? What's the issue with not getting one?
Inspect it for sure. Just because it's a new build, right? They have an agenda they got to get this house done at that time. So things are going to get missed, right? So the inspection is really just to go back and say, hey, will you please cover this hole up that you forgot to cover, right?
Right.
Would you please fix this doorknob that you forgot to put there? Different things like that.
And it's things that the people are not going to see. So when you do new construction, for those of you listening out there, if you've never done new construction, you have a blue tape walkthrough towards the end of the project when it's getting close to closing. You take your client out there and you do basically with the builder, you kind of do an in-step. You literally mark with blue tape on all the items that need to be done or redone by the builder prior to closing. Well, that's also usually the same time you can get your home inspection done too. And then what I recommend with that is, dude, vents. There's sometimes vents aren't even going through the roof, or there's things that could be missed. The gutter might not be tightened up right. Shingles could be laid up over. I mean, there's so many different things that you're not going to visually see just doing a blue tape walkthrough with the builder to say, hey, everything's good. There's things that you're not looking at and the builder's not looking at that could be wrong with the home. It's just that double peace of mind going forward.
Yeah, it's a few $100, it's worth it just because then you have it on paper. And to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like it kind of forces that hand to get that fixed, right? Because then you're just on the phone all the time, constantly all the time. So, I mean, inspect it all, right? Even if you just do the plus package, it's worth just knowing the information on what should be, fixed. And what I call out may not be important to that person, right? But it gives them the information, like, they're probably not going to ask the builder to caulk the windows. They'll probably do it themselves, but they know, that they can do that. That it should be done, right?
Yeah, so. And we can only see what's visually that we can see. We can't see up in the attic. We don't know how the rafters are connected. Or I was shown some pictures the other day from some construction where like some of them were not even nailed correctly, I mean, so we can't. What I'm saying is, we can't see up in the attic.
Yeah,
that's right.
We can't see what's behind the walls. We can't see what's underneath the ground. So, but that y'all can. Yes,
absolutely. So yes, inspect everything, please. I mean, just for your own good, even if it's not with us, call somebody. Get an inspection done because you don't want to get into that home and wish that you wouldn't have purchased it. Yeah. That's the thing. You want that information beforehand.
Yeah, that's good. What types of inspections do you guys do? What services do you offer along?
Yeah, so we offer, a sewer scope camera that we offer to look at the sewer line. We'll do, septic inspection, pool and spa, well inspection, sprinkler irrigation inspection, just making sure. You'll be surprised on what sprinklers zones don't work, on doing that. And I think that's it. There's got to be maybe one more out there, but and then I'm in the process of getting licensed in termite inspections right now. So
cool. Yeah. Makes a big difference. And those people, just for people listening, they can add those on and you can do everything the exact same time as that general home inspection.
That's right.
That
yes,
okay.
That's correct. Yep. So, added services cost, extra. Right. But if you go with the premium package, you get 15% off on that added service. So
nice. Good deal.
That's what's up, man.
I
Danny, we love you, man. We appreciate you being on the show today.
I'm glad to be here. Love you guys too. Thank you for having me, and I appreciate everything.
Man, honestly, guys, where can people find you at, D?
Well, you can find us on Facebook, Pillar to Post, Home Inspectors Texas Panhandle. We have an Instagram. Not sure of the handle on that. Have a TikTok as well.
You don't know the handle.
Hey, that's not my department. And then of course you can call the office 806-567-8283. And then you can also get on our website. It's pillartopost.com /Danny Shetter. And take you directly, and you can see everything on there. So,
thanks, D, man. And great guy, great business, great service. Come on,
I appreciate it.
And you can probably find this because when we do this, golfing, maybe, but the disc golf. We'll see you out there. We'll see you out there.
Don't invite me if you think I'm good at golfing. I'm not. So it's just for fun.
Hey man,
We love it, though.
We have a good time.
We have a good
It
time.
doesn't matter. We're not playing in the PGA Tour, so
Not yet.
Not ever.
that's Sam's aspirations.
Well, D, thanks for coming on. Thanks for keeping it real. You guys have a blessed day.
Thank you.